Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream on Twitch weekdays from 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, 10 AM in Australia and 1 AM in the UK. We are working on an Art Deco building. We're creating it in the Unreal Engine 4.16.1. We're going to be doing a cinematic fly-through once we've finished setting our scene up. The Art Deco building is actually this one just here. That's in Max. There's a few assets I still have to work on to bring in. Most of them are done though. And we are working on our Unreal scene here. So I think what we'll do is, again, I'll just go into full screen mode and we'll jump through the bookmarks really quickly. So we have our outside environment here that we're still working on. We're actually working on the yard for the environment at the moment. It's a little pond we have in front of our building here. We have this gate at the beginning. This is where the camera will actually start and it'll fly through the gate and down the garden path. So our camera will come through here, come down our garden path. Now again, I haven't rebuilt the lighting. Sorry about that guys, I forgot to do it last night after the stream. This grass here is looking a bit bright because the lighting needs to be rebuilt. So I will do that after the stream today. So when we start up again next week, it'll be all rebuilt. So yeah, the grass looking a little bit bright is just an artifact of having, I need to rebuild the lighting on it. So we're going to come along our garden path with our camera over our first terrace until we get to our second terrace. And then we will actually get to our main building here. So we're actually working on the lighting. And again, all of these trees are animated, wind animated. I just have it switched off because OBS really doesn't like it. So let's jump out of full screen. And we are working on our yard. So let's continue doing that. Once we finish working on the yard here, then we can start concentrating on doing the interior of the building. Our camera will actually fly through inside the building and back out again. All right. Now we've got our grass down. I didn't place any grass right up against the building because I'm not sure what I want to do as regards to design around the building just yet. There is a couple of things I want to work on just before we tackle the rest of the yard here. And that is these fences. Now on this one I do have a normal map set up, but I didn't create a normal map for these, so I'm going to do that before I forget. And then we can tackle the yard. Let's just pull back here and have a bit of a look at the building. Again, all of our plants are wind animated. They will be animating in the final cinematic. But let's just quickly jump into Knald, K-N-A-L-D, which is what I'm going to use to create the normal map for those fences at the bottom. So let's pull up a color map. So we did the front fence right, so let's do the front fence left. I'll load up the color map here. I'm just going to set my path so when it does the export it knows where I want it to put it. It looks good, it's still in building fences. Let's just adjust our color map though. We may actually bring the mesh in. It may be easier for us to work on the normal map if we actually load the mesh up. That's my light. Do remember guys, if you've got any questions or anything you're not sure about, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If I can help, I'm happy to try. If you just want to pop in and say hello, it's always welcome. If you just want to watch, that's completely fine. Let's make some adjustments here to our normal map. It actually looks like it remembered the last settings we used for our normal map. So I think I'll keep it at default here so I can keep all of the normals looking the same on all the fence pieces. We do have to update our integrator. I'm going to check to make sure that it's going to be exporting. So we're going to be exporting the height map, the normal map, the ambient occlusion and the convexity. I'm going to export them all, but we're really only going to be using the normal map. In fact, I'm going to turn these off. I just want the normal map. And I'm saving as a PNG file. Unreal handles PNG quite well, so we'll stick to that. Let's export that one. Let's load up the next color map for our fences. So we did the front fence right. And then we just have this side fence. And again, I'm going to keep all of my settings the same. Just update my integrator. Again, we're only exporting the normal map, and let's export that one. Okay, let's jump back into Unreal. Let's find our fence pieces here. I'm going to check the shader. Well, let's jump into our subfolder of textures for the building and import our normal map. So this one is no, front fence left. Okay. UE4 projects, models, Art Deco building, exports, building fences, fence front left base. That's the one we want. And let's drag that into our shader. We'll move these two textures down so we've got a bit of room to work. And let's hook that up to our normal map. And save our shader. Alright, we can close that one down now. Back into our models folder. I'm not sure if this is the one we already have the normal map for. Let's check. Yep, we already have the normal map on this one, which means it's this one we need. So it's side fence, and the texture map is called fence side. Okay. And this is the one we want right here. Plug our normal map in and save our shader. Okay. So now we have our normal maps on our fences. I'm just checking them here. And they're fine. Now the only other thing I need to do here is change the color slightly, because the original here, that was the original color. It's more grey, and I want to take it into more of a blue to better match the stone at the top. And we did that in Photoshop, so let's quickly jump into Photoshop. Love coffee. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the original fence that we changed the color on to that blue. If I can find it here. This one here. That has our adjustments we made to the original texture color. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the other two base texture colors, which are the gray that we don't want. UE4 projects, models, Deco building, export, building fences. We want the front left here, and we want the side. Okay, so this is the original texture color. You see it's all very grey, and we made an adjustment to make it more of a blue to better match the stone at the top of the actual building. So we're going to arrange our workspace here. We'll go 3 up vertical, and I'm going to select those adjustment layers. I'm just going to drag them on top of the second texture, and on the third texture now we have matching colors between all of our texture maps. And that's why when we created the original adjustments, we did it using an adjustment layer up here as opposed to going into image adjustments, doing it that way. And that's so that we can easily copy our values across different texture maps. If we'd done it this way through an adjustment up here, it's going to be, unless we wrote down the values, very hard to match the color. So always work in an adjustment layer. It's a much better way to go, particularly if you have to copy something across multiple images. Let's save out these fixed PNGs. We'll just overwrite the original texture map. Okay, let's jump back into Unreal. And now we just need to re-import these textures. Got to find the other one. Where is it? There we go. And now our stone here at the base better matches the stone at the top of the actual fence itself. Alright. Let's start doing some work on our yard here around the outside of the building so that we can start then working on the interior next. I don't know if we'll get to the interior today because I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with the yard just around the actual building. Let's just save all here so we can make save all those changes we just made. Okay, now again, I didn't do a rebuild on the lighting yesterday, guys. Again, apologies, I forgot to do it. So the color's a little bit bright. It'll better match once I do a rebuild on the lighting. I don't do that on stream just because it takes about a half an hour. And it's going to be pretty boring for you guys to watch the Unreal Engine build out its lighting for half an hour. But we do want to work on the actual yard itself here now, so let's see, what are we going to do? Just checking what I did yesterday. I'm going to jump into my foliage tool here, and we're going to look at I've got like 3 different types of grasses, a short one, a medium one, and a long one. I've just got to remember which one is which. We're going to turn that one off, and we'll turn that one off. Just making sure nothing else is selected here. You wait for a time to escape all your demons. Okay, I think it's the rough grass cluster. That's the one I want, I think. I may just pull my brush size down a little bit as well. Yep. And what I'm doing here is I'm just blending a longer grass in amongst our taller weedy grass here. Just to get a better blend. Now again, I've just got to keep an eye on OBS because you can only do this foliage painting in Unreal with real time on. It does it in real time, but real time has a problem with OBS, so I'm just going to have to be careful in what direction I face my camera while I do this. That should be okay. I was just after a bit better of a blend between the height of this tall weedy plant in the background and our grass in the foreground before we got to our lawn grass down here. Alright, let's jump out of foliage there so real time gets switched off. And again, I'm just keeping an eye on OBS to make sure it is not screaming at me that FPS is dropping. Alright, let's see. Now we do have a big tree, a hero tree, and a hero tree is just a higher resolution or a higher polygon tree that I use anywhere where a player or our camera in this case is going to get near it. So this tree here is a hero tree, and these ones here are hero trees, but the ones in the actual background forest are not. They're a lower polygon simply because we have so many of them in our scene. We don't want to go too high poly on those background trees. But we do have a hero tree and I do want to place it in the yard. I'm just thinking I may go back to my foliage tool just quickly so we can get some grass painted in just through here. So again, I'm going to turn on the background grass and the thick grass cluster and turn off that high grass there. So we're going to be painting with two different grass types that are yard grass. Just going to paint them through here. Again, I'm purposefully leaving an area around the building not painted in at this stage until I work out exactly what I want to put through there. Jump out of paint tool again. Alright, let's see if we can work out where we want to put this hero tree. Let's pull it in to begin with, so let's go into our foliage tool. Let's find that tree. Okay, it's this one here. Again, I'm just going to wait for the shader to compile. It's the first time we've used this tree, so the Unreal Engine just has to compile our shader down here. I'm just going to pull out from there. I want to get an idea of how big this tree is. I'm just going to wait for my shader to finish compiling and then I'm going to move the tree. Okay. Let's have a look here. Let's zoom up so we can get a better overall view of everything. I'm just checking here because I want my camera to come around because we're going to enter the building through this door here. So I want to make sure our tree isn't actually in the way of any of that. I'm actually going to scale our tree up, I think. We'll move over a little bit. Zoom around. I'm just looking at the angle of the tree to see if I like the direction it's facing. Let's just deselect it for a minute so we can get a better look at it. Let's just do a bit of a rotation here to see what it looks like. I've done that because I like to see this branch that lays along the ground. It was being a bit hidden behind that tree, and our camera will be coming down through here, so I wanted to make sure that was visible before we get to our door. And it is, so that's all good. Again, we're going to pull back to where our camera will enter the scene above our terrace here. Alright, well, that looks okay. Again, I don't want to hide the sunset here, so I wanted to make sure that, or sunrise, whichever. Make sure our tree wasn't actually hiding that, and it looks fine. Now, I only created 2 hero trees really, one for the building and one for the yard. I'm just thinking a tree around here would look really interesting. But because I only created those 2 hero trees, and this tree is such a unique looking shape with that branch that lays along the ground, we may be able to get away with using that tree again, but ideally we really shouldn't because, yeah, as I said, it's a unique shape of tree and it'll be much more noticeable if we reuse it again. So let's see if we've got anything else in our little tool bag here we can actually use. We have some of these Douglas fir pines and Scots pines. Let's see if they would look interesting. So I've just got 2 different varieties of these trees here. Again, I'm just checking the size. I may actually scale them up just a little bit. Again, remember guys, if there's anything I'm doing you're not sure about or you've got a question, feel free to pop into chat and ask me. Let's look at the Scots pine as well. I think I have 2 varieties of that, so let's pull those in. Again, the lighting is looking a little off because I haven't rebuilt the lighting yet. And these trees, the colouring on these trees will look a bit strange until the lighting is actually rebuilt. I'm just looking at the size of these as to how big I want to make them or how small. Let's start by moving them a little bit, I think. I think we'll scale this one down a little. And and we will scale this one up a bit more. I'm going to pull back, and again I'm looking for an interesting looking silhouette on these trees in this grouping. So while I move just around the outside of my tree grouping here, I'm looking at the silhouette, so basically just the outline of the trees in a group, mainly at the top here, not so much down the bottom. And I'm moving my trees to make that outline look is more interesting. Okay, we have a little group of our tall Douglas, what are they? Scots pines and Douglas fir pine in the corner here. Let's do something with the base of the trees though, because it's all looking a bit bare. Again, I've got two other Douglas firs here, which are a different shape. I'm just going to pop a couple of them down towards the base of these trees. Alright, I'm going to copy or duplicate, I should say, again, one of these trees. We're going to move it over. I'm going to rotate it around though, so it's less noticeable that it's the same tree. Alright, now we just need one for the back here. Let's take the other tree we've just placed in the first one, which is a different shape, and duplicate it, and we'll move it back. And I also think what we'll do is we will maybe change the height on one of them, so maybe this one here. We'll scale it up a little bit. Alright, so we have our group of pine trees over here in the corner. Let's pull back a bit. I think I may move this one out just a little bit more. And we may move this one over just a bit more. And again, I'm doing this by hand because it's in the yard here. We use the foliage paint tool to do the forest around the outside of the environment. But these ones in our yard I'm going to place by hand because, well, it's more natural. If you're a gardener, if you owned this house and you have your garden, generally you would have planted these by hand anyway. So, and I'm doing that to get an exact look for what I want. So I'm less interested in this just overall forested look, which I use the foliage tool for. It's great for that. I want more of a controlled look here for our plants in our yard. Okay, so we have a little pine tree grouping there. We're going to select all those trees again. Well, we don't want that. Let me just angle my camera here so I don't accidentally select my environment again. I can do this through here as well. It's probably a better way to go. And we have this little tree down here. Alright, so we have all of our pine trees selected, that little group of pine trees. I'm just going to pull my camera up so I can get a better overall view. We are going to duplicate this group. We're going to move this grouping over into the background over here. We'll rotate it. Maybe like that. Now again, we've copied the group, so all the trees are the same, but because one group is way over here and the other group is way over here, if you're making a game, I'm just going to deselect those for a minute. If you're making a game, your player, or even our camera and our cinematic, is never going to see both of those groups at the same time. So you're never going to tell, or the player will never know that you've really only duplicated the same trees again. But we will swap it, we'll change it up just a little bit anyway. I think what we'll do is we will move a couple of these in a bit. We're going to rotate one just a little bit. Again, I'm checking the silhouette of our trees here against the sky to see if I like the look of it. It's not too bad. Okay, so we've got our trees there, but we really need some longer grass through the bottom, I think, just to make it look as if it's been hard to mow in amongst our trees, so the grass is growing. But I'm going to use my foliage tool for that. My apologies if you can hear that music. So we're going to go back to our rough grass tool and turn off the yard grass. And I'm just going to paint some higher grass amongst our tree. Alright, let's check the one on the other side. So our building. This one, I think I'll pull the grass line up to the back of the tree. Oh. Again, I got to watch OBS to make sure that I'm facing in the correct direction. Let's jump out of our foliage tool. Alright, let's see what else have we got to play with here. Let's get some bushes going in through the garden, I think. So we do have those elderberry trees. Let's pull one of them in and scale it up. And let's pull in one of the red elderberry as well. We'll scale that one up. In fact, let's scale that one up quite a bit. And what will I place here? Let's put one of these blue spruce conifers, I think. And I think we'll place one more actually, just in this section through here. Or will I? I'm just going to deselect that for a minute. Again, I'm going to check my silhouette here. We do have a bit of a gap in through here that looks a bit empty, but it does help to give us a bit of depth here behind the trees to the forest in the background. So it may be a good idea to leave that open, I think. All right. But let's grab a couple more of these. Let's duplicate the ones we've already placed, these two elderberry bushes. Remember, when we duplicate the same plant, we're using very little extra memory or polys, because it's just a duplication as opposed to a different mesh. Let's rotate it around. And let's bring in some azalea bushes as well. Let's go with the white one. Again, we'll scale it up because it's a bit small. To about the same size as the ones we have in the garden there. And we'll pull those in. Let's duplicate it again. We're going to rotate it so it's not obvious. Again, we're using the same bush. Well, I always do that. Let's pull it forward a bit. I think we need something in here. I'm just trying to see what we've got to work with here. I want something with a bit of height. Again, let's work with the grouping of these blue spruce conifers. Let's scale it up. Again, we're going to duplicate it. We'll scale this one back down. Again, I'm going to get my camera into position here where OBS doesn't complain about my frame rate. Hey Sniper Echo, good to see you. How's things? What you been up to? Let's do one more duplication. We're finally getting into working on the yard here in the building. Let's pull this one forward. That's okay, buddy. No, that's cool. That's alright. You don't have to apologise for missing the stream. I mean, I always love to have you guys with me on the stream, but if you can't make it, then you can't make it. That's cool. But it is good to see you here now. Hey Dad, good to see you too. Always good to see you guys pop into chat and say hello. Like I said, I don't monitor my stream, so it lets me know that there's somebody watching me. But if you're just a lurker who wants to watch, that's cool. I'm not calling you out or anything, that's fine. We have a grouping of a few little trees here. Now again, pay no attention to the actual colour here at the moment because I haven't done a rebuild on the lighting, and that's going to change the colour of the trees once the lighting is rebuilt. And again, I could do it on stream, but you guys are going to sit here watching Unreal build lighting for half an hour. It's not going to be a lot of fun. So I generally do that off stream. I think we may bring one more in the background here, make it taller. So So again, I'm just going to duplicate one of them. Move it back here. Let's scale it up. Okay, let's spread them out a bit more now. Might do a rotation as well, just to make them look a little bit more interesting on a couple of them. Again, I'm just making sure that my trunks here are actually on the ground and not above it.